What if the anger you've been carrying your whole life was never who you truly are? What if it belongs to a fractured part of you created in childhood to survive what you couldn't escape? And what if healing doesn't come from talking about it, but from going deeper than the conscious mind ever could? Don't look back in anger. Not because what happened to you didn't matter, and not because your anger wasn't justified, but because staying there keeps you bound to a version of yourself that was created to survive, not to live. If you grew up with trauma, neglect, abuse, or emotional abandonment, something very natural happened inside of you. Your psyche fractured, not in a broken way, but in a protective way. A splintered self was born. That fractured self carries the core wounds of childhood, wounds of not feeling loved, not feeling important, safe, or seen. And those wounds just don't disappear because we grow older. They turn into anger, defensiveness, walls, emotional armor, and they show up in our relationships as bitterness, resentment, overreactivity, or emotional withdrawal. And over time, that unexpressed, unhealed energy doesn't just live in the mind. It lives in the body. It becomes anxiety, depression, addiction, autoimmune issues, chronic illness, exhaustion. The body holds the imprints and it gets stored as an energetic frequency. Now, just a bit about my personal story. I know this because I lived it. I was deeply fractured. On one side of me, I was the sweet, kind, compliant, nice person, the good girl, the peacekeeper. And on the other, I was volatile, explosive. And this was often fueled by alcohol. So I hid it. I hid it from myself under a veneer of niceness. I went to psychotherapy for 8 years and talked, but I always talked around the anger. I never felt it because underneath wasn't just anger, it was rage, repressed so deeply that I didn't know it was a thing. I was angry at my parents, at my abusers, at God, at spirit. I was angry at being made to feel unloved, unimportant, insignificant, having to endure injustices, persecutions, and cruelty. I had learned how to be a victim, but I had no idea how to stand up for myself. I didn't feel entitled to. That splintered part of me didn't know anything about self-empowerment, authenticity, and sovereignty. She only knew survival. I analysed my anger. I explained it away. At times, it felt like a badge of honour, but it didn't heal because talking alone, especially retelling trauma stories over and over, can actually keep the nervous system stuck in survival mode. It can be triggering, dysregulating, re-traumatizing. Healing doesn't happen at the level of the conscious mind alone. It happens much deeper, and this is really important to know. Everything changed when I went deeper into my subconscious, my superconscious, and into my body, into the inner child pain body that I'd been carrying all of that from my past. When I felt the emotions, the shame, the anger, the hurt, the grief, and the sadness safely, gently, without forcing or being re-traumatized, that's when healing began for me. That negative energetic structure dissolved. Something incredible happened. My authentic self, the real me, could finally step forward, center stage. It felt like a phoenix rising from the ashes. This version was always inside of me, waiting for me to make space for her. Only then did I begin to live without constant fear and shame, without constant fear of being triggered. Only then did my nervous system soften. Only then did I stop being run by a fractured part that had once saved me, but could no longer be allowed to run my life. Healing required surrender, a willingness to ask for support beyond the mind. For me, I call that support the superconscious mind, that higher intelligence within us all that is waiting to assist our healing process. Also, I called upon spirit. Now, you might call that your higher self, source, God, universal intelligence. The name doesn't matter. The collaboration does. This is a partnership between your heart, your soul, your subconscious, and your superconscious and spirit. When you set the conscious intention to heal and then allow something greater to guide the process, healing can occur at a core level, safely, gently, in the right time. Your higher self knows what you're ready for. You don't have to force it. Now, here's something important I want you to hear. Your fractured self was not the enemy. That part of you was created to keep you safe. That played an essential role and deserves acknowledgement, gratitude, compassion, kindness, and love. But she cannot be allowed to run your life forever. Survival is not the same as sovereignty. So here are some signs that you might be masking anger. Many of us carry anger without even realizing it. We mask it because expressing it feels unsafe, because we've been taught it's wrong. So here are some common ways anger hides itself. Being overly nice or compliant. This was my favorite. Always agreeing, people pleasing, or putting others first to avoid conflict. Passive aggressive behaviors. So this might show up as sarcasm, backhanded compliments, or subtle digs instead of expressing frustration directly. Emotional outbursts or volatility. Sudden bursts of anger over small little triggers, often alternating with sweetness or calm. And withdrawal or emotional shutdown, avoiding people, situations, or emotions altogether to keep the anger at bay. Chronic irritability or tension, feeling annoyed or stressed internally, even when you seem calm on the outside. And then my favorite is turning anger inward. So self-criticism, guilt or shame for feeling angry. The important thing to know is this: mask anger doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means a part of you learned to survive by hiding it. Healing begins when we notice these patterns, honor the part that carried them, and gently allow the anger to be felt and released safely, with support and without judgment. Because when we do, our authentic self can finally step forward free and whole. So gradually, with the right support, you can return home to yourself. You can integrate those fractured parts. You can live in alignment with your heart, aligned with your soul's calling for freedom, love, and expansion. Don't look back in anger. Look back with understanding, and then choose to walk forward whole, integrated, and free. If you feel that anger still lives beneath the surface and you're ready to go deeper, then talking about it. I've created a gentle, guided video to help you safely release anger at a subconscious level, supported by your superconscious and spirit, without reliving your trauma. You'll find it in my emotions playlist, where we work with anger and shame and fear and sadness and grief, slowly, respectfully, and in collaboration with your higher self and spirit. There's no rush. Follow what feels safe. Healing happens when you're ready. If this video supported you in any way, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. You're not just supporting a channel, you're helping create a safer space for healing, understanding, and return to wholeness. Thank you for being here. From my heart to yours, with love.